Gather around, kids. Today we're going to talk about a movie called Morbius. This movie is about a man who becomes a vampire, which is appropriate because it sucks. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Before we get started, click on the red subscribe button, notification bell. That way you know every time I post a new piece of content. Okay, so Sony, what are you guys doing? This movie is directed by Daniel Espinosa, who directed a movie a few years ago called Life with Ryan Reynolds, Jake Gyllenhaal, Rebecca Ferguson, and I actually think it's kind of criminally underrated. That movie is about it's like a space horror film, about an alien monster in space. The marketing for it was actually kind of awesome because they never showed what the creature looked like whatsoever in any of the marketing. And I think it recycles a lot of ideas, but I actually really enjoy it. So Daniel Espinosa is once again working with Sony. This time they're bringing to life, another kind of lesser known Marvel character, anti-hero slash villain. In this case, this is Michael Morbius, who is a doctor who becomes a vampire. He's basically like got this, some sort of degenerative disease. And he's disabled, and so he becomes a vampire, and then he's got superhuman strength and all this stuff, and it's all very like stereotypical 90s-ish comic book junk, and it's just not very good. And it's easy to dunk on Espinoza for this. This movie might very well end his career as a Hollywood director, which is unfortunate because, like I said, I liked his last movie, and it's just a huge misfire once again. Sony has proven that they can make good Spider-Man movies. They made the Raimi trilogy. They've made, they made Into the Spider-Verse, and they're making that sequel. They have made some then questionable decisions with the Andrew Garfield films, the Amazing Spider-Man movies. And then they made, Homecoming and Far From Home, which I thought were pretty good. I think those movies, and I've criticized those before for being, I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe presents Spider-Man and being more Avengers movies than anything else. And then No Way Home, mild spoilers, essentially fixes that and strips things down and makes it very much a Spider-Man movie again. And so they've proven that they're capable of making good Spider-Man movies. And then this movie is, a Spider-Man side character. And yeah, this one's really bad. I think a big part of the problem is the script. It doesn't seem to know what kind of movie it wants to be. You can tell that this movie went through a ton of reshoots, and you can almost like hear the studio executives telling Espinoza he has to go back and put in more scenes of action and fighting and flying and punching and biting, and it's very obvious as soon as you watch the movie that they made a lot of changes to it during production, and it's just not good. The other massive problem is the two main characters. This movie, and this is a little bit of spoiler for the film, nothing major, but you have your bad guy and your good guy, and your good guy becomes a vampire and has all these powers. He's got his like sonar, and he can, run and jump. That sounded like gunfire outside my apartment. There's a chance it might be. I live in downtown Seattle. I'm just going to keep going. Why not? Wouldn't be the first time that's happened. You have good guy, bad guy. They have the exact same powers. They're both vampires. They're both the same guy. And now you could do some sort of dynamic, where like this character is a reflection of this character. And it seems like they kind of tried to do that, but they never actually commit to it. And so therefore, henceforth, it doesn't work. Much like basically everything in this movie. The CGI is fine, but there's like a scene in the beginning of the movie where he gets out of a helicopter. This stuff is in the marketing, and then it looks like he gets bit by a bunch of vampires. And I thought they were going to like go back to that scene and revisit it. And unless I completely missed something, that scene just kind of exists for no reason. And they never really actually go back. And it's very disjointed. Nothing seems to really like flow together. Jared Leto I mean, you have to give the guy credit. He seems to be committed to his roles. He's won an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club. He's been in some decent movies. I talked about The Little Things several months ago, and he was actually really good in that, and he commits to everything he does. But he just seems to be choosing these products that are trash. And he wants to make a comic book movie. Clearly, he's in one of the worst DC movies in the first Suicide Squad, and he's in now one of the worst Marvel movies in Morbius. And there have been some great memes about the movie being like this incredible film, and of course, they're all very tongue in cheek. Uh, but at least the guy's going for it, right? At least he wants to be in a comic book movie, and he's putting the effort in. And he's a capable actor, and he's a capable performer, and he commits 100% to everything. But he really needs to start picking better projects, because the last couple have been huge duds, and he's I don't know what he's really doing. He seems, he seems like he's kind of a little bit of a weird, quirky guy. So this character seems like it would actually kind of fit his personality, and just nothing here works. Sorry, if you're looking for a good movie, this ain't it. And one other huge critique I have of the movie is that the post-credits stinger is something that Marvel has gotten really good at, getting you to stick around for the credits. And it's not hard to do. It's really not. You can write a you can write a credit sequence, a credit stinger in less than 5 minutes and have it be awesome. And this movie has the worst I've ever seen, and it's really not even all that close. If you stick around through the credits for this, it's an attempt to be extremely fan servicey while also setting up a greater universe and tying this directly into the Spider-Man movies. And good God, man, like they got the two actors that are in the scene are amazing actors. One is a bit on the older side. You've seen him in several Marvel movies, several MCU movies before, and then you've got Jared Leto, two capable actors performing together. And what is crapped out on screen is the worst little credit stinger I've ever seen in my life. It's so poorly written, and it's like 2 sentences of dialogue. And I have no idea how Sony let this into the movie. It might have been something that was added on, in reshoots, and they just took 5 minutes to shoot it because they put in minimal effort for it, clearly. And it kind of really, that sequence, that little it's not even 2 minutes long, it's maybe 30 seconds. This tiny little sequence during the credits really sums up the movie well, in that it sucks and I hate it. So you shouldn't watch it. Thanks so much for checking out the video. If you liked it, if you found it helpful, consider subscribing. You can also like and share the video. That tells the powers that be that it's worth promoting. So hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think of this hot trash, and I'll see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m.